Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am the logical conservative. Yes, that's right. I am now completely 100% red pilled. Today, we will be talking about how Elon Musk is fantastic and the greatest human that has ever lived. Even more better than Gandhi, than George Washington. Elon Musk, the best, the greatest person ever, alongside of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is also awesome. Yes, that's right. And I'm also going to talk about how we are going to send all of the illegal, undocumented immigrants back to their country of origin, and perhaps not even to their country of origin, to another country, just because we can. America, hell yes, hell yes. America, love America. Republicans, keep strong on the tariffs. We will tariff you. We will tariff everyone. Better watch it out. We're going to tariff you. All right. We're going to tariff everybody. And then I know it's too much. It's too much. I can't keep it up. I can't keep it up. I am the logical lefty. Welcome to the show. I know, April Fools, everybody. I had to do it. You know, I had to do it. Okay, it's a requirement. It's a requirement. I have to. So that's what I did. Look, we got a great show. We got Musk. We've got constitutional amendments being defeated in Louisiana of all places. Lots of fun on that. We've got yes, the Trump tariffs. I will be talking about that. And so please stick with me for the next roughly hour, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. All right. So with that said, why don't we dive into it? Let's talk about Elon Musk's baby mama drama. You know you love it. Okay. Make it 1,000%. 1,000% tariffs. Let's do it. All right. The wealthiest man in the world appears to also be a deadbeat dad. At least according to conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair, who says the billionaire breeder is refusing to send her the full amount of child support. St. Clair had publicly sold her Tesla on video and claimed that she did so because Musk had reduced the amount of money he was supposed to send her in order to support his child. Here's that video.
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of like vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, this is modus operandi when women speak out.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th?
That he's just not responding to you at all? And how would you characterize the way that he's going about?
You can check the stocks. I'm not the only one who's running up after his message.
Yeah, okay. Are you sure that it's not just because owning a swastika is probably the least cool thing to do right now, and that you wanted to sell it before they become completely worthless? I mean, I'm just saying that's a perfectly valid reason to sell your Tesla now. It's not that I don't believe her or that I believe Elon Musk. No, I just understand that these are both right-wingers, and I have to take anything that comes from a conservative influencer with a gigantic grain of salt. I don't believe her. I don't believe him. I don't trust any of them. Okay? That said, she claims that Musk is withholding the money because she is being punished for speaking out, since apparently they have been at odds over even the parentage of said child. On Monday, he wrote that he had paid St. Clair a significant amount of money, while at the same time not really admitting that the child is his. So again, a lot of mixed signals here. He said, "I don't know if the child is mine or not, but I am not against finding out," Musk said in an X post on Monday. "No court order is needed. Despite not knowing for sure, I have given Ashley $2.5 million and I'm sending her $500,000 a year." I do not trust him on that. Okay. I don't trust him. I don't know if he's actually sending the money or not. Who knows? So now, St. Clair, she pushed back, admitting that while she did receive some money initially, that money spigot has slowed down to a trickle. "Elon, we asked you to confirm paternity through a test before our child, who you named, was even born. You refused. And you weren't sending me money, you were sending support for your child that you thought was necessary until you withdrew most of it to maintain control and punish me for disobedience. You're only punishing your son. It's ironic that your last effort in court was to try to gag me while you use a social media channel you literally own to distribute derogatory messages about me and our child to the entire world." Yeah, this is definitely some beefy drama here. Okay, very meaty. Okay, you're gagging me in court. Well, you're not paying money. Well, your child might not be my. What is this, daytime television? What has happened? And by the way, what did she allegedly do that pissed off Musk so badly? She had apparently filed suit to gain sole custody of the child that Elon Musk claims might not even be his. I know, it's all strange. Now, he did this after Ashley was forced to bring the matter to court when he refused to respond to her many private attempts to resolve this matter without publicity, said the firm Bickel, Rosenthal, and Shanfield in a statement. Okay. In a filing with the New York Supreme Court last month, St. Clair said Musk had confirmed his paternity of their son in text messages. "If I make a mistake on security, they will never know his father," Musk allegedly wrote. Another text supposedly read, "I want to knock you up again," with him declaring that he and St. Clair had a legion of children to make. And gross. Okay. No.
Sexual anarchy.
No more of that. Okay. Elon Musk is a weirdo, but I'm sorry, like, the women who have children with him, I gotta ask, what the hell were you thinking? What are you thinking? To be fair, though, there's a really good thing that came out of it, and that's Vivian Jenna Wilson, because she is awesome and based. So, but otherwise, like, I have to say, like, why? Why would you want to? Why? Okay. Look, of course, MAGA had to jump in, as they do. First, Megyn Kelly. This was back in February, by the way, saying this: "Your life is the way it is because you decided it would be." This is to Ashley St. Clair. "Because of your choices, madam. You set it up this way. You do not have to make a choice where you try to bang the billionaire to get his baby so he'll put you up in some lavish New York City apartment and take care of you for the rest of his life." Wow, that sounds like projection. "And then be shocked when he doesn't actually want to have a relationship with you." That sounds kind of personal. Of course, more recently, Laura Loomer went after Ashley St. Clair, calling her a quote-unquote gold digger. "Sue for full custody. Everyone can see she is not being honest. Very generous of you to give her that much money after how disrespectful she's been to you." Let me note that child support, that is not about respect. Getting money to raise a child from the father is not a matter of respect or disrespect. That is about taking care of your child. That's what that money is supposed to be for. And I'm not saying that St. Clair is the good person here. There are no good guys in this story, okay? All I'm saying is that if it is your kid, then you are going to have to pay for that. That's it. There's no good people. There's no winners in this story. There is, of course, a loser in the story, and that's that poor kid. Not only does he have Elon Musk as a dad, but the mom doesn't seem all that great of a person either. I think this kid is doubly screwed. And I just feel bad for him being stuck in the middle of two people who are having a very, very stupid fight. And one of them, at least one of them, is massively stupid. I'll leave you to figure out who that one is. Yeah. Ooh, boy. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go to Trump's oopsie in El Salvador. Not exactly the kind of oopsie that you want. But what you can expect out of MAGA. It appears the Trump administration has admitted that, oops, we sent an innocent man to a ruthless El Salvadorian concentration camp as a result of an administrative error.
Whoopsie.
No, it can happen to anybody. You know, administrative error. Oops. Now, Gilmar Abrego Garcia was one of the 250 men deported to El Salvador's CICAT Terrorism Center after President Donald Trump had invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. You know, the act that's supposed to be like, oh, we're at war, and so therefore we can deport people that we're at war with, but who are we at war with? I mean, seriously. Nonetheless, on March 15th, the administration sent two plane loads of Venezuelans and a separate group of Salvadorans to the infamous camp. One of them included the Maryland father, who had previously fled El Salvador, came to America, got married, and had a 5-year-old disabled son, or has a 5-year-old disabled son. Garcia also had temporary protected status against deportation back to El Salvador because of, well, he's going to be persecuted. Well, ending up in an El Salvadoran prison camp for terrorists sounds a lot like persecution, but we'll get to more of that later on. Obviously, that status did not protect him at all. Although ICE was aware of his protection from removal to El Salvador, Abrego Garcia was removed to El Salvador because of an administrative error, the government admitted in response to his complaint. Look, sending people who are innocent off to a concentration camp is bad enough. And I cannot believe that I have to say these words, but in 2025, that's what's going on. But let's note that he also has no criminal record. He was working full-time as a sheet metal apprentice when he was deported. So not a criminal, not a gang member, not somebody who was taking taxpayer money, not illegal, because he has protected status. And still, what does that do? It gets you sent to a prison/concentration camp. Do you still not believe that this is based on racism? Because it is.
The Republican Party's racist.
I'm just saying. But what's worse than all of that is the fact that even though they admit that, oops, we made an error, we messed up, we oopsied, whatever. Okay, what's worse than that is that they're now refusing to bring him home. Just refusing, flat out. The government argued in a filing that the court cannot order officials to bring Abrego Garcia home because, oh, would you look at that? They're not in U.S. custody. Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, so you just disappeared somebody. And now, even though it was a mistake, you said, I can't bring him back now because we have already disappeared them. Oh, my God. The government says that the Trump administration is paying El Salvador to jail him, but we cannot force El Salvador to return him. Oh, really? We can only entreat or cajole our close ally into returning him. according to the finding, and I'm doubting very much so that they're going to try to do that. They claim the court is powerless to order relief, said Abrego Garcia's attorney, Simon Sandoval Moschenberg. If that's true, he says, the immigration laws are meaningless, all of them, because the government can deport whoever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want, and no court can do anything about it once it's done. Yeah. But look, here's the thing. Obviously, they don't want him back because they're racist. It's really simple. Anybody who's trying to be like, oh, it's because of the legal thing, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. No, it's racism, period. Plain and simple. He is a Latino, okay? And this administration does not want him back for that fact alone. That's it. And now they've got J.D. Vance out there lying about it. Here's what he said. My comment is that according to the court document you apparently didn't read, he was a convicted MS-13 gang member with no legal right to be here. Oh, really? You might want to check that again, bro, because no, he was not convicted of anything. What happened is that he was racially profiled. Back in 2019, he and a couple of other guys were just chatting outside of Home Depot. And then ICE came up and nabbed him. That was it. They were arrested, interrogated, sent over to ICE. I'm sorry, he was arrested by police and then sent to ICE. But it was profiling. During his deportation proceeding, ICE officials claimed that a confidential informant who was a, quote, past proven and reliable source of information had confirmed that Abrego Garcia was a member of a gang. And they even gave a rank and gang name to the police. Oh, no. A judge then ordered that he be held without bond during the hearings. Thing is, the police report about the Home Depot incident didn't even mention Abrego Garcia. They didn't name him. And the informant that accused him of being in an MS-13 clique didn't, basically the MS-13 clique that he was supposedly part of didn't even operate in Maryland. So how can he be part of MS-13 when he lives in an area that MS-13 does not belong in? It doesn't make any sense. And by the way, the detective who originally classified his police interview as a gang interview had been suspended. And nobody else from that gang unit even stepped forward to answer questions about the case. So this seems pretty shady. Very, very shady. Indeed. No, the only crime that he is guilty of is coming into the country, yes, illegally, and then applying for asylum because he said, I'm going to get murdered if I stay in El Salvador. He made that case, and he was given a withholding of removal order. And you only get one of those if it is determined that the person is more likely than not to face persecution if they are deported back to their home country. And guess what? That's exactly what's going on. A 2023 State Department report found credible reports that inmates in this El Salvadorian concentration camp have been electrocuted, tortured, and even beaten to death by the guards. So, great. Apparently that's okay then. You know, because the government's lawyers are saying that, look, even if he is being wrongly imprisoned, and that's a big F, don't worry, he has not suffered any irreparable harm. Oh, really? Oh, really? Being ripped away from his wife and child and stuffed into a concentration camp, that is not irreparable harm? I can't imagine anyone who wouldn't be irreparably harmed by that. To a country that obviously was going to persecute him. Insane. Insane. Look, this isn't the only F-up. It's not the first, and it will not be the last. At least one alleged Venezuelan gang member had already been granted legal refugee status in the U.S., while others included a pro soccer player, a gay makeup artist, a 26-year-old barber, a 24-year-old father, all with no criminal record in the U.S., and all were formally seeking asylum. So you know what that means? This is all racism, racial profiling, but now it's just being done at an official level with absolutely no regard to the truth. The mask, if there even was one on this administration and on Trump and all of his followers and on ICE, all of that is just gone. It's completely off. There is no mask anymore. They're 100% racist. Thank you, by the way, Raven McQueen Network here for the super chat, for the very kind $2 super chat. Deport Elon and thumbs up video, please. Yes, you can do that. This is called kidnapping, says Illuminati. Yeah, it's kidnapping, disappearing, whatever you want to use on that is correct. It's just disgusting. Grumpy Cat says all Trump can do is make one phone call to get him back. I doubt that he will. Yes, that is very, 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 very true. He will not. Okay. All right. Moving on here. Let's go to Trump's tariffs. Whoops. Oh, wasn't that embarrassing? Yeah, I know. Oh, well. We got this. Elected Republican officials are getting a little bit nervous over Trump's impending tariffs. Since January, the president has imposed a wide range of tariffs on foreign imports, including 25% levies on imported cars. However, April 2nd is when he plans to do even more tariffs across the board in what he calls Liberation Day. Now, what exactly are we liberating ourselves from on that day? I don't know. Cheaper stuff? Perhaps? A good economy? I don't know. But I do know that some House and Senate Republicans are getting a little concerned, okay? And say, oh boy, those higher prices, man, that might end up liberating me from my job, okay, as a congressman. I don't want that. Okay. It's so bad that even several GOP senators have indicated that they might put aside their, reservations with working with the other side and vote with the Democrats to block the tariffs on Canada. You're going to go against Donald Trump. Whoa. It's insane. Now, as a result, of course, Donald Trump had announced that we have another national emergency. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. What's this national emergency? Apparently, there's so much illegal immigration and fentanyl coming from across the border from Canada. What? Wait, what? What do you mean? Are you sure? Sure about that? I don't think so. I think this is pure desperation on the part of Donald Trump to be able to justify his tariffs. It shouldn't work, okay? But I wouldn't be surprised if it does, if people believe it. That said, you have a couple of Republicans that don't, like Senator Suzanne Collins. She's talking to reporters on Monday saying, quote, imposing tariffs on Canada, which is our closest neighbor, a friendly ally, is a huge mistake and will cause disruption in the economies of both countries. Yes, leave it to Suzanne Collins to state the obvious and then to, of course, get massive amounts of praise for stating the obvious. Congratulations. She added, I'm not surprised that Canada would seek to strike back, and that's going to increase costs even more for consumers. Now, she was joined by Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, who is a co-sponsor of the resolution. By the way, Kentucky just getting absolutely hammered by retaliatory tariffs. Okay. Yes, a lot of especially from Canada, they sought out specifically red states to go and do their retaliation on. Kentucky's part of that. So let's just be clear. Okay. Tom Tillis of North Carolina also could join in, while Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa is like a maybe. You're a maybe. Oh, okay. You're a maybe. I maybe might, vote against these tariffs. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. Senator Ron Johnson, Wisconsin, said that more tariffs is a, quote, high-risk move. I don't know what his strategy is. Well, you ain't the only one. Okay? You're not the only one, dude. But you look at what the market's reaction is. I have a similar kind of reaction. I'm concerned. Oh, you're concerned, Ron Johnson. Oh, okay. Well, I'd be concerned about retaliation against those manufacturers. I'm concerned about them losing overseas markets. I'm concerned about the cost of builders. I'm concerned about retaliation against our farmers. There are a lot of concerns. This is what he told the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel at the beginning of March. Well, there's still a lot of concerns. Okay, and that's because we got a man baby out there trying to crash the economy. So, look, these Republicans, they spoke out publicly, but there are ones that did not speak out publicly, but they still spoke out. One Republican senator spoke to the Hill anonymously last month and expressed fear that the party will suffer a political backlash if the economy dips as a result of Donald Trump's tariffs. People are concerned that we're about to take a hit in the stock market, which, of course, we have. Okay, taking plenty of hits in the stock market now. They said, indeed, the major indexes finished March with large losses due to tariff anxiety. So let me note, by the way, that this is what they actually care about. They care about these two things: the stock market and their own careers. This is not about protecting the American people. This is not about protecting the consumer, making sure that, we don't overpay for things. No, this is all about protecting their corporate donors and keeping their own jobs. This is what Republicans are concerned about, okay? It's all they're ever concerned about, those two things. So let's not attribute their reluctance to harm the American consumer in this way to anything other than self-interest. With that said, I'll take it because these tariffs are dumb. Okay? Everybody knows it. Stupid. They're dumb. He's not solving any problems with these. No, the guy's just using tariffs as a weapon to lash out at any country that he does not like. He is like a petulant child throwing a tantrum, and that tantrum is going to hurt all of us. It already is. And not just in the short term, but in the long term too. When these countries no longer want to do business with us at all. Regardless of who's in office, you have damaged that trust. You have damaged these partnerships with countries that are our friends, supposed to be our friends, with no end goal, none. Look, it would at least make a little bit of sense if he had announced massive infrastructure projects. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to, yes, we're going to do tariffs on car imports, but don't worry, we're going to build everything here. And I've already got everything set up so that we can manufacture everything we need that goes into cars right here. And we can do it with better paying American jobs, better paying jobs with real benefits and all that stuff. And this is going to be, government funded. We're going to help out. We're going to build this infrastructure. And so then we're going to do the tariffs afterwards so that we can really build up American manufacturing greatness. Okay, that would at least make some sense here. That would make sense. But no, we're not doing that. It's just tariffs. It's just tariffs. And then somehow they're like, I don't know, we do tariffs and then we profit. And that's it. Wow. But what about the second thing? The thing where, it shows how we're going to profit from this, how it's going to make the country better. Where is that part of the plan? I don't know. It's somewhere. It just will magically happen. Elves and fairy dust. No, there is no plan. There is no plan here. There's no plan. It's just stupid. Dinesh D'Souza once called Republicans a stupid party. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the stupid party. Okay. Let's move on to some, good news. We got good news today, believe it or not. So let's get to that. Before I get to that, by the way, please like and share the stream. It's very important that you do so. Helps me out greatly. Please like and share. Please consider becoming a patron or a channel member. Helps that out. Cats Amanda and Friends says, liberate the money from your wallet. Bingo! Bingo. Absolutely. Dystopian Dragon with oopsie.
Whoopsie.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. It appears that voters in Louisiana have rejected a series of controversial constitutional amendments pushed by Republican Governor Jeff Landry. I'm going to go and break down those amendments here and show you how much the voters did not like them. Now, Amendment 1 would have expanded the Louisiana Supreme Court's authority over out-of-state attorneys. So the Louisiana Supreme Court would have authority over out-of-state attorneys. What happened to states' rights? And would also allow lawmakers to create specialized trial courts that would cross district lines. So that's a massive expansion of the judiciary, which not so good. Thankfully, it was defeated by more than 170,000 votes. Amendment 2 was a proposal to cap the state's spending growth and would reallocate about $2 billion from education or education savings in order to pay down retirement debt. Also would have phased out business inventory taxes, so it's a tax cut for corporations. And so, as a result, people didn't like it. Amendment 2 was rejected by over 150,000 votes. All right. Amendment 3 happened to be pretty simple, which would basically expand the list of crimes for which minors would be tried as adults. So, yeah. You did this particular crime as a child? We're going to charge you as an adult. Wow. This lost by more than 180,000 votes, so massively defeated there. And finally, Amendment 4 would have aligned special judicial election timing with Louisiana's upcoming closed party primary system. This amendment was defeated by over 120,000 votes. In fact, voters said no to each of these amendments by margins exceeding 60%. So that is an absolute drubbing. Okay, these amendments got crushed. Wow. Now, of course, Landry immediately blamed this on, you guessed it, George Soros. I kid you not. Oh, yeah, just George Soros, left-wing radicals came out and defeated it. But also, it's not a defeat. Here's what he said in the statement. We do not see this as a failure. We realize how hard positive change can be to implement in a state that is conditioned for failure. Now, okay. I got to ask, why is Louisiana, why do you think Louisiana is conditioned for failure? Why is that? Could it be the fact that it's been run by Republicans for a very long time? That might be why it's conditioned for failure, because you've had nothing but failure of leadership for a very, very long time. And by the way, I'm not going to spare the Democrats in that, because they have also failed to win majorities in that state. Nonetheless, Louisiana's Democratic Party, which actually still exists, strangely enough, they called the outcome a resounding defeat for Landry. Quote, together with voters from every party, the people came to the conclusion that the constitutional amendments were at best misguided. At worst, an attempt to give tax breaks to the rich while locking up more of our children. Now, that is actually absolutely what these amendments were about. That is not the Louisiana values we stand for. Yes, not imprisoning children or giving tax cuts to the rich. Yes, that is absolutely not what we stand for, okay? Doing those things. I wouldn't say it's a bold stance, but, at least they're being honest. Like, yeah, of course we don't stand for that. Great. In fact, the Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group said this, quote, in rejecting Louisiana Constitutional Amendment 2, Louisiana citizens from every walk of life stood up and demanded good and faithful government, a government that protects us and does not mislead us. 65% of voters demanded government transparency. We do not exist to serve government. Government exists to serve us, and it would do well to remember that. We will protect our state and every person who lives here. We will defend government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The founders who gave all deserve no less. All right. Now, pollster John Couvillon said in a post on X that this was a primal scream kind of vote, driven by robust Democratic early voting turnout that I'm not seeing being offset by a strong GOP election day vote. So there it is. Good news here. Not only did these fail, but they failed because people are animated to show up. Yes, that's the good thing about all this. You see, now that Donald Trump is back in power, people are like, oh, hey, maybe I need to show up and vote. They have been roused off their butts. Okay? Look, they didn't show up in November. Maybe because they thought that Donald Trump couldn't win, or maybe he wouldn't be that bad this time around, or, I can't support a genocide. All right, well, look, on all those counts, people were wrong because genocide ongoing. Okay, Donald Trump won, and yes, he is that bad. So, nonetheless, now they're showing up in special elections and, to oppose or support certain constitutional amendments, and is proving that this Republican administration is not exactly a mandate, which means their power can be revoked at any time by the people, and that even Republicans in red states should watch out. Just watch out. Here comes the voter. Okay? Even in blood red Louisiana, there are people here who will not accept terrible laws or amendments and are actually doing what they can to fight back. And you know what? I love to see it. All right. VMan 29397, thank you for the $10 super chat, which reads, message retracted. Yes, I couldn't agree more. But thank you anyway. I do appreciate that. All right. Has anyone actually heard anything from Soros since the election? Not that I know of. Oh, there we go. VMan29397 says, I find it rich that JD claims that Denmark mistreats Greenland when in the 30s, the U.S. appointed a military governor in Puerto Rico who engaged in state violence against independence supporters. That is very rich indeed. I agree. JD, the other thing that JD Vance said that I found interesting was when he said, well, look, we have to, let's see, the president, we have to, something about, we have to respect the desires of the president. And it's like, what does the desire of Donald Trump have to do with Greenland? Okay, what does that have to do with any of that? No, it doesn't make, no, I don't care. And the government of Greenland also should not care at all what the desires of Donald Trump is. Okay, nobody cares about the desires of our president because he is not a king, he is not an emperor, he is none of those things. So I don't give a damn what he desires. And I'm glad that Greenland and Denmark also don't care. Okay. His name is Blanton Winship. Dude was a monster. Oh, yes. Yes, the military governor in Puerto Rico it gets treated so badly by the United States. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Mistreated. Pretty much left to rot at this point after all these massive storms that hit them, and all you had Donald Trump out there was throwing, paper towel rolls at them and thinking that I'm doing a great job. Puerto Rico, the big water, ocean water. What? No, it's incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating, indeed. Okay.
One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Water, big water, ocean water.
Oh my God. All right. Moving on. Let's get to the last story. And once again, it is a good news story. Holy crap. Holy crap. So disrespectful. Yes, I am. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm super disrespectful towards this administration. And will always be. Okay. I know. Bad news for the standard bearer of the French far right. Marine Le Pen has been officially banned from being able to run for office, at least for the next 5 years. Now, the frontrunner for the 2027 election has been found guilty by a court of embezzlement, a crime in which a Paris court will be handing down a 4-year prison sentence. Now, to be fair, 2 of those years were suspended, and the rest are to be served under house arrest. The sentence also includes a 100,000 euro fine. Her party, the National Rally, was also ordered to pay a 2 million euro fine for the 4.1 million euros that it was accused of embezzling. Court's presiding judge, Benedicte Deportation, said Le Pen's actions amount to a serious and lasting attack on the rules of democratic life in Europe, but especially in France. Okay. She said Le Pen's immediate ban on standing for office was tied to democratic public unrest that would result from an election of a person convicted of embezzlement. Just imagine, if you will, we had a system that would actually prevent criminals from running for office and winning. I know. But look, there it is. All right. Yet another far-right figure, globally, getting their just desserts, for doing crime. She can join Jair Bolsonaro and Rodrigo Duterte in the finding out phase of effing around. And by the way, of course, Bolsonaro comes up to defend her, as well as other people. All right. That said, Le Pen, furious, obviously. She claims that the sentence was purely political and that the rule of law was completely violated. How dare you? I don't know, man. Kind of looks like the opposite. It kind of looks like the rule of law won here. She also claimed that her right to an effective recourse under the European Convention of Human Rights has been denied. Denied! How? My human rights were denied because I got caught embezzling money. Okay. Look, she says she's going to appeal it. So, once again, kind of undermining the whole rule of law thing since she's able to appeal her sentence. But look, at the end of the day, she stole the money. Seems pretty clear to me that the sentence here is legitimate. Look, the investigators found that Le Pen, her party, the National Rally, and 24 co-defendants had misappropriated funding from the European Parliament meant to pay for parliamentary assistance. Okay? So they're given money to get assistance for Parliament. But what happened? What did she do instead? She instead used that money to pay for party employees who did not work on EU-related business, for a period of about 12 years. So, just, taking them money, paying people to do her own thing, their own thing, for 12 years. For a total of more than 4 million euros, 474,000 of which Le Pen was personally responsible for. First as an MEP, and then later as the president of the party, the National Rally. Oh! In a ruling that exceeded 150 pages, the 3-judge panel that heard the case ruled that the party's scheme allowed it to effectively bypass spending rules meant to even the playing field for French political parties. Yes, exactly. That is the problem. Is big money a problem in politics? I don't know. Just look at America. you do, and it's like, oh yeah, it turns out, yeah, when parties do not have an even playing field, you generally get massive right-wing parties that win elections that have a massive disadvantage. Yes, like we do here in this country. And if you don't have that issue, you end up having another issue. Whereas you have two parties or more, because, a lot of these countries in Europe are parliamentary systems. But in this country, in the United States, you end up having two corporate parties that are beholden to big money. Yeah, that's one of the problems here. Okay, one of the problems. So that said, let me go to the response here from, let's say thieves of a feather. Okay, Donald Trump weighed in on Monday saying that Le Pen's conviction was a, quote, very big deal. Very big deal. Oh, okay. She was banned from running for 5 years, and she's a leading candidate. That sounds like this country, he told reporters in the Oval Office. Except that it doesn't, actually, because Trump was never barred from running for office for any period of time. That is despite the fact that he led an insurrection. Okay, and that he had been accused of other pretty serious crimes. Okay, so yes, there was the insurrection, and there was the documents scandal where he took classified documents home with him and then refused to return them. He got, technically, right? Raided by the FBI, but it actually was super nice and like can we come in and just take the documents back that are ours? Like super nicey nice, right? Nonetheless, right? The raid, it's a raid, it's a raid. No, it's not a raid. Technically, okay. But anyway, no. That does not sound like this country at all, okay? Because Trump not only did all that stuff, but then he went for re-election and he won. He won it. That said, J.D. Vance also weighed in, saying you cannot win. Oh, this was back in a February speech, sorry, at the Munich Security Conference, saying you cannot win a Democratic mandate by censoring your opponents or putting them in jail. I believe shutting down elections or shutting people out of the political process protects nothing. In fact, it is the most surefire way to destroy democracy. Sure, unless, of course, that politician happens to also be a criminal. And that is the key here. Running for office or being in office should not protect you from the law if you commit a crime. You are not supposed to be above the law. Now, unfortunately, of course, thanks to people like Donald Trump, all you have to do to get away with a crime is either win an election or be a donor to the winner. I talked about how, there was a person that has gotten himself in trouble with the law that happened to be a $40,000 donor to Republican causes, including Donald Trump, that is no longer being investigated. Okay, it was a former CEO of like Fat Inc. Okay, got himself into a little bit of trouble, but don't worry, those donations, would you look at that? It gave to Donald Trump and the Republican Party, and no longer is the Justice Department looking into him. Oh, is that an investigation? Oh, free to go, sir. Free to go. Oh, gotcha. So that's how that happens. Look, remember, Nixon said that it's not a crime if the president does it. And that seems to be where Trump is getting his, his inspiration from. And by the way, Trump himself said, if it saves a country, it's not illegal. And that right there really shows you the mindset that a lot of these right-wing politicians, unfortunately, have now. They can justify doing crime as long as they win. Well, thankfully, not in France, who is the latest in showing the world, showing America what we should have done in the first place. All right. V-Man 29397 with a string of very kind donations here. Let me read those super chats here. And somehow Puerto Rico elected the co-chair of Latinos for Trump for governor instead of the pro-independence nominee because a Soc Dem party calling to build self-sufficiently somehow is a communist dictatorship. That frustrates me so much. And you are absolutely right. They would rather have massive corruption instead of, I don't know, a social democracy. Yeah, but it's got socialism in it, so or it's got social in it, so it must be socialism, and therefore terrible. Doesn't make any sense. And then finally, would you believe me if I told you that from 1957 to 1993, Puerto Rico had Medicare for all, destroyed by statehood politicians who said Puerto Rico should have a healthcare system more like the United States? That I would believe you on that. Yes, because that's exactly how they are. Oh, yeah, we know. We need to make our healthcare system more like the United States because in that case, people make money. Lots and lots of money denying people healthcare. So there you go. I'm not at all surprised. Small correction, the difference is not the parliaments in Europe, it's the proportional representation. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Look, I mean, parliamentary system ensures that they have proportional representation. In that, like, we don't have that. There is no left party in the United States. We have two conservative corporate parties controlled by billionaires and big donors, and so I would much rather have more of a European style system, but unfortunately, we're not that lucky. Okay. So, with that said, that's all I got today. Thank you for watching the show, sticking with me. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. You can become a supporter of the show by hitting the join button below, become a member, or become a patron over on our Patreon, patreon.com/jeffwaldorf. All right. So thank you all. Have a fantastic rest of your day. This is, of course, April Fool's Day. So happy April Fool's Day. If you didn't see my intro, you can go back and listen to how I had become the logical conservative for like 5 minutes. And then, well, it's an oxymoron, so I just couldn't keep it up. And there you go. Now I sound like Elon Musk. I just couldn't keep it up. Couldn't keep it up.
Sexual anarchy?
No.
Resurrection is about the people.
It is. It is. All right, anyway. Thank you all. Love you, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, roughly the same time, same place, as always.